Yo. All right, how we doing? So here's today's replay. So basically, like we opened, we gapped down a little bit. TSM had good earnings, but market didn't like it. Top of the range 756, 75.40, bottom range 710, bottom of range. See if we get any changes. So nice little kaput off of open. I would say like you might get a small bounce off this QQQ dark pool. But 710 is really the level to watch. But I mean, you want to see like maybe, I don't know. I'd wait for 710 and then see. So there's a small QQQ dark pool bounce. And then they slide in this floor at 751 on SPY. But we'll see. This QQQ is super weak. So there's a small little reaction off of 75.40 and 710 the first time. But I would still wait for 751 on SPY. And I miss this move personally because as you'll see, they undercut SPX by so much. And then they even overshoot this QQQ by a ton and they overshoot this SPY by a ton. So small bounce off 751. And then as you see, QQQ is dumping. But what they do is they kind of slip in this floor here at 751. But for a second, it looks like it's a ceiling. And QQQ is just nuking, so I just thought SPY was going to follow. But eventually, you'll see, like, I think eventually bounce off to 750. And then because we overshot the 710 and the 751 so hard, even the 75.40, like, we see a massive move back up. And I personally didn't catch this move because I got faked out by QQQ and SPX being damn near 10 points below the node, so I thought it was a ceiling instead of a floor on SPY. So I missed this move. There's also this small reverse rug here at 709 you could have caught, but all of this SPY exposure higher and SPY respecting this floor is telling you that the main bias right now is longs. And you also have this massive magic carpet on SPX up to 75.70 and 75.75. What's interesting to note is the 7490s here, the 700s here, and the 747s here. So I'll just fast forward. So you start to get a little bit of push up, a lot of push up, my fault. You almost see like a V recovery, right? Then as you see, we're coming up here on SPX and we're still not quite hitting resistance on SPY. And they roll up these nodes on QQQ, right? So you're just going to keep heading up. And QQQ has a little divergence. It kind of gets picked back up, I think. But something I want you to remember is this 7570 has been negative this whole time on this reverse rug. And because the 756 is so strong and it's been there the whole time, we know that we're probably going to front run it, right? So basically what I would be thinking is QQQ is just in an air pocket, but it has a large magnet at 710. So I would take this rug on SPX at 7570, especially because there's not another node above 7570 until 7600. So you know you're at least going to get 5 to 10 points off the 7575. And worst case scenario, like you revisit the 7540. But we'll see how the supporting indices go. Boom, tap the rug. Form this nasty wick on Qs. Then they kind of start to slide in the ceiling on 754 SPY. So boom, as soon as the node pops up, slide in the ceiling. So now this is our ceiling, right? It went from 756 to 754. And so what does that tell us? What does that tell us about price? It means price headed downward. And also something to keep note of, I don't know if it shows on the replay, but 700's been lit all day. So that's just something to keep in mind. So you might get a small bounce off of 710 here, but I don't know if it'll hold. Check the dark pool a little bit. The dark pool again. Kind of bounce off the 754 again. A little bit of a node rejection on Qs and SPX. Lot of node rejection. You got this reverse rug on QQQ. Got this 75.55 rejection back up to 75.70, which is the top of the rug. And then this is an absolute mint setup. So you have a insane rug on SPX, and then you have a triple Pika stack on SPY. And what do we know about Pika stacks lately on SPY is that they're insanely resistive. So if you can line up a short on SPY and SPX, this lower 700 on Qs will pull you down and just melt it. So even like I would try it at 754 right here, even though like maybe you took profit on your SPX shorts, so you get another entry, and you also get this beautiful SPY map, which has literally no resistance until 752. Holy mint. Little bit, maybe a look above. Holy 712 snipe, and then it just starts to nuke. Today was very website. I mean, they're just chopping at the dark pool, which is crazy. Might get a bounce off to 753. Just joking, I guess. They turn it into a ceiling. But again, like if you look, 700's getting stronger. So as you see 700 start to get stronger from the beginning of the morning, you can kind of expect this to break and we see a new low of day. Might see a small bounce at the 752, 75.40, but Q's is just getting so much stronger that it's worth, so there's a little bounce, but I mean, you might get a small bounce from 75.40. But like eventually, like just look at how strong Q's is. And then they slip in the ceiling on SPX and SPY. $709 test and break, like it doesn't hold at all. Then you got the 752 king node that's playing with price down here on SPY. Below this, there's nuke. But something to also keep in mind is VIX was around and below 16 at some point today. And we know that when you're below 16, you have a large chance of volatile moves because volatility coils. So even right here, you get a 707 test and then you start to reject. 75.40 is now a ceiling, so you're just going to see rejections down, down, down. And then 700 starts to get a lot stronger. Let's see how it start to light up down here. 75.40, boom, reject again. Mint. Again, maybe small 750 bounce, dark pool plus node. And then boom, 751, 707, send it back down. Like look at all this positive gamma on SPX. That just incentivizes people who are not long gamma to push the market lower. You got this 702 exposure growing, and then there's just straight meltdown. So this is a little bit of hindsight, so I'm just gonna warn you now. But there's a 748 plus a dark pool, and even just like all of these two negative nodes on SPX can send us back up. With this 75.25 king node, just watch it. I'm actually curious, I didn't watch this play out. So 747, 748. So 702 is getting stronger. Yeah, the only way you would have caught this is like the SPY dark pool. I'm gonna be pro. But there's just an insane face ripper. I don't know if it was a short covering rally or just a mechanical bid, but that was an insane face ripper. Alright, I hope this helped for a slightly but very profitable day. Slightly confusing, but I mean, these SPY shorts, I minted on these SPY shorts. So, alright, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.